Yai ga gai 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 yai ga gai 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 yai ga gai 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 yai ga gai 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 yai ga gai 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 yai ga gai 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 yai Yay, gai, 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 gai. Yay, gai, yay, gai. Yay, gai, 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 gai. Yay, gai, gai. Erev Tov, everybody, and welcome to our Wednesday night edition of Daily Daven. I hope you all had a great day, a great week. It's been a long time since I've been here leading Daily Daven. I've had a week of leave since I've last seen you all. I now feel a bit more refreshed and willing to take on the upcoming school term that comes our way very shortly. Of course, being a teacher, I'm thinking of those things that are involving my students at this time, and I hope you all have a great second half of the year, because we've just now entered the month of July, and it's definitely a lot to look forward to in the coming months. So tonight I'm going to do something a bit different as far as a kavanah for this evening. I want you all to think of your own individual kavanah, your own intention. And if you're struggling to figure out what you want this service to be about for you this evening, I'm going to give you a couple of prompts to look into, and I'm going to share an example in more detail later on in the service. But I want you to think about what you consider to be the magical moment of your day, and if there was a moment that you started off as a negative and turned into a positive, something to look out for. Magical moment and a negative to positive moment. So with that in mind, we will now officially begin tonight's service with the call to prayer, the words of Baruch Hu. Please rise if you are able to. Baruch Hu et Adonai ha-mevorach. Baruch Adonai ha-mevorach le'olam va'ed. We'll now turn to page 7 with the bottom reading for you to look onto if you've got your Mishkan Tefillah available for you this evening. Ever-living God, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to the power of your wisdom. Day follows day in endless succession, and the years vanish from our sight. But your sovereignty endures. Though all things pass, let not your glory depart from our lives. Help us to become co-workers with you and fill our days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai Hama'ariv Aravim. We'll now turn to the next page, on page 8, with the words of our everlasting love prayer to our God, Ahavat Olam. Ahavat Olam Bet Yisrael Amcha Havta Torah מתאים, אותנו לימדת, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגה יומם ולילה, נגה יומם ולילה, ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום הלבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות הידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל, ואמרת עליהם, ועשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם, ונתנו הציצית על כנף בתיר תכלת, והיה לכם לציצית וראיתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. We'll now turn to page 17 for a prayer of truth in the lead into our Michamocha prayer. A very old song aroused me into life when it drove away my low spirits with its royal language. A song of a generation silenced from the days of old aroused me into life. We will now go to Michamocha on the facing page, page 16. Mi kamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar le'olam ba'ed. Yam ba bam bim 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 bam, yam ba 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 bim bam, yam ba bam bim 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 bam, yam ba 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 bim bam, yai gai 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 gai, yam ba 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 bim bam, yai gai 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 gai, yam ba 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 bim bam. ונאמר כיפה אדוני את יעקב, וגרום יד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל. We'll now turn to page 18 for our bedtime prayer, Hashkivenu. Ushmot tzitinu voinu lechayim uleshalom me'ata ve'ad olam me'ata ve'ad olam me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, ve'hamidenu malkeinu lechayim, ufrosalenu sukat shelomecha, me'ata ve'ad olam, me'ata ve'ad olam, me'ata ve'ad olam. Ushmot tzitinu voinu lechayim uleshalom me'ata ve'ad olam, me'ata ve'ad olam, me'ata ve'ad olam. Baruch atah Adonai, shomer amo Yisrael la'ad. We'll now turn to page 20 and we will rise for the Chatzi Kaddish, if we are able to. Yitkadai ve'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma tivrah hiroteh, ve'yamlich malchuteh, v'chaychon uv'yomechon, uv'chayzecho beit Yisrael, b'hagara uvizman kariv, ve'imeru amen, yehi shemei Rabbah mevorach, le'agam u'me'amaya, yitbarach, yitbarach, ve'yishtabach, ve'yitbarach, ve'yitzomam, v'yitnaseh, v'yitagda, v'yitageh, v'yitagal, shemei kodesha, brichu, le'la min kol bechata, ve'shirata, tush bechata, ve'nechemata, damiran be'alma, ve'imeru, amen. We'll now turn to page 74 and begin with our standing prayer, the Amidah. And we'll begin with a brief kavanah and intention specifically for this section of the service with a reading on page 75. I'm going to take a deep breath before I start reading through this. I invite you to do so as well. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city, but prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, and rebuild a weakened will. We'll now turn to page 74 to begin our Amidah. We will go over the first three benedictions together as a community and then go into silent prayer until Yihiyu Leratzon, which is found on page 100. Adonai, Sefatai Tivtach, Ufi Agitecha, Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim Bekoneh HaKol, Mezocher Hasdei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Gula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Hoseh u'Mashiach u'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Yisrael Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye Meitim Ata, Rav Yehoshia, Mashiv Harach U'Morit HaGeshem, Masiach HaShemesh U'Morit HaTal. מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיה מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו כשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומתום מלך, מלך ממיתו מחיה, ומשמיח ישוע, בנאמנתה לחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך הקדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, בהגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, וגואלי, וגואלי, יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, אמרי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, וגואלי, וגואלי, וגואלי. So I want to draw your attention back to one of the prompts of a kavanah that I raised at the beginning of the service. This prompt I'm going to use is what today's magical moment it is for me. And I think for me, it's a magical moment when you set some time aside in your day to pray and to check in with yourself and the people around you, and try to raise your thoughts and awareness of what you want in the world, and speak to God when you're doing so. Of course, we came out of the Amidah, where we are prompted to have a conversation with God. And something that I've noticed in my own personal life over the last couple of days in particular, but also over the last few weeks, is that prayer is powerful. Prayer is a magical thing that happens. We have no way of knowing what happens in the world and what the outcomes are in our lives. But for me, prayer helps center myself. There are a few things that I do to help center myself. I practice a lot of meditation and mindfulness tips, and I do yoga, I exercise. But being able to do this service for you this evening, being able to engage in prayer in a public setting and in a private setting, it's amazing what raising good thoughts to God can really do, and how it can really change the perspective and even the outcome of situations in our lives which could be grim at the time. And being able to pray and be able to let out and express our feelings, is powerful. So I definitely would encourage you to set aside some time in your day to do your own personal prayer. It doesn't have to be something that's specifically in Hebrew or in the Siddur. It can be your own thoughts, the meditations of your heart. We talk about the in fact, when we looked at Yehiyu Ratzon, may the words of our mouths and the meditations of our heart be acceptable to God. We don't need to express out loud what our thoughts are of what we want to pray for in this world, but as long as we do feel it in our heart, then we know that God is listening to us. So communicate with God however you will. We may not have a direct line to to God like Moses does, but or Moses did, I should say. But there are ways in which we can communicate with God, and you all tuning in tonight, you are making a step in that right direction to make that connection. So I applaud you all for that. We will now make our way to almost to the back of the Siddur to begin our concluding prayers. First with the words of Aleinu. Please rise if you are able to. This prayer will be found on page 586 for those of you who are following along in the Siddur. עלינו לשבח אדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגהרצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. We'll now turn to our mourner's Kaddish, but to begin we will have a brief kavanah with a reading on page 593. The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled, it burns, it glows, it is radiant with warmth and beauty. But soon it fades or is extinguished, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen, the flames dance and our lives are full. But as night follows day, the candle of our life burns down and gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen. Yet we must not despair, for we are more than a memory, slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. This evening we pay our respects to the families who have lost loved ones either during this past week, this past month, or in coming into tonight to tomorrow with in honoring a yahrzeit of a loved one of years past. Specifically within our community, we take some time to honor the family members and friends of Gilbert Barnes, Beryl Aarons, and Irene Hutchinson. We'll now turn to page 598 for the words of the mourner's Kaddish. And if there's someone in your life that you're honoring the death of this evening, please keep them in mind when reciting these words. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'ama divra chiruteh v'yamnich malchuteh, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayeh dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv ve'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam alameh amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha v'richu. Le'ela min kol bechata v'shirata. Tush bechata v'nechemata. Damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'akol Yisrael. Ve'imru Amen. Oseh shalom bibromav. Huya aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'imru. Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, Amen. So, of course, Daily Daven continues tomorrow night, and if you are fortunate to tune in live or at another point after this is streamed live, you'll be able to bring in the day with me once again. It's been an honor to come back to you on this Wednesday night. Hopefully tonight will be a little bit warmer than it was last night, but with it being winter, you never know. So I would like to conclude this service with the words of Oziv Zimratia, which is found in our Siddur on page 647, if you're following along. Ozi Vezimratia Vayehi Yeshua Ozi Vezimratia Vayehi Yeshua Ozi Vezimratia Vayehi Yeshua Ozi Vezimratia Vayehi Yeshua. Erev Tov, everybody. Stay well, stay safe, and I look forward to seeing you all